If you ever feel lonely, you are definitely not alone in feeling that way. Loneliness is now classified as a public health epidemic. Research links it to a 26% increase in the risk of premature mortality, and that's comparable to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Most of the interventions we talk about for loneliness are social. Connection, community, belonging. Why is it that so many of us are connected in some way on our screen, with our phone, with our computer, in social media, and we still feel disconnected? What we don't talk about enough is the role that music can play in getting you there. And today, I want to make that case with the research to back it up. If we haven't met, I'm EP Archer, and I help committed adults improve their quality of life with music. This is episode 5 of 6. We've talked about your brain, your emotions, your body, your identity, and today, connection. Because no instrument is truly a solo instrument. When you think about the somatic resonance method, you are talking about the connection between your body and your instrument, between one instrument and another, between your body, your instrument, another person and their instrument, and not ever doing this in a vacuum completely by yourself. But that feedback through your brain, through your body, through how you feel, and through the connection with others is the revolutionary way to cure your loneliness. Let's get into it. BMC Public Health cited in the Royal College of Music, when they studied loneliness, that it is associated with a 26% increase in the risk of premature mortality and poor cardiovascular and mental health outcomes. Like, literally, being lonely makes your heart sad. And that means the function of your heart and lungs isn't what it could be. Obviously, the mental health outcomes are not good. And the number one thing that you can do right now is to take a step, to take an action. I remember a client that I had, and one of our goals during COVID was literally, I'm going to exit my bedroom and I'm going to go into the main room of my house. And another goal was literally, I'm going to open that front door. And then the goal was to put one foot out the door. These tiny action steps are able to be built on. And if you are feeling lonely, even if it's a secret loneliness that nobody knows about, maybe you're surrounded by people and you're feeling lonely, that is because that connection, that growth, that seeing yourself in someone else and allowing them to see themselves in you isn't happening. And one of the easiest ways for that to happen is through an instrument. An instrument makes it objective. It makes this vibration, this natural connection. Just look at kids when they connect with music, right? They're not overthinking it. They're not having these deep conversations. They are hitting an instrument. Another one's bowing an instrument. Another one is laughing or singing. And they're just in the moment, creating sound together. And that sound, that vibration, that lift in the oxidation of your cells and that connection bridges the gap. You don't have to have this huge plan. You just have to know, hey, when I play an instrument, I feel better. I feel less lonely. I'm willing to connect with people. And I actually have this really cool reason to. You know, if you're in a hiking club, we can connect over hiking. If you play an instrument, connecting can be so much deeper than just having an activity. It is something that you are creating and opening up to and engaging. And it's body, mind, spirit, health, wellness, emotions, all of those things without having to have an uncomfortable conversation about your emotions. You just become connected as you do it. Arts engagement, including playing instruments, supports social connectedness through multiple pathways. The Royal College of Music, the Imperial College of London, they've done surveys and studies with large-scale evidence of the role that arts play in supporting public health. Group music activities, even better. And this gets me really excited because there's an old model of, hey, I do a private lesson or I do a one-to-one and it's me and, my music teacher, and it's once a week. And then in between, I'm sort of like on my own. I got to cut it, right? And even if you're a college music major, that's part of your education, right? You have studio and you have your private instruction and you have applied instrument and you have convocations, but really like you do the same thing. You go into a room with an expert and you work on stuff and then you come back and hope it's better, right? And the bulk of the practicing for that happens alone. You're working on your etudes, your scales, your studies. And then, of course, you're usually in an ensemble where you play with other people. And then you're in other classes. But even the institutional model is a bit more separate than the ideal way for learning music. Group music activities, and when you have peer reviewed as well as different levels of people in the same room or in the same Zoom call or in the same environment, the same community, doesn't matter if it's digital, doesn't matter if it's, at a community center, when we're getting together with a common goal in a group that is focused, that has expert feedback, that has that one-on-one evaluation and response and help, but also has that idea that we're in here, we're doing it together, and we have a common goal. I want to be more confident. I want to play with better tone. Hey, maybe if this is going well, I might be able to join a chamber group, or what if I started my own band? What if I was confident enough to write my own music on the violin or write a song? What would that feel like? It is proven in many studies that this way of learning music in a group improves mental health, emotional well-being. It strengthens your feeling of connection and combats loneliness. Playing in a community of committed adult musicians, online, in person, in whatever format you can easily access it enough to be committed on a daily basis or multiple times per week, ideally, creates bonds. These bonds are genuinely different from other social connections. You're sharing a language. You're sharing a struggle. You're sharing a joy. You are sharing a connected expression and a somatic resonance with one another. You just don't get that from ordinary activities or going to pickleball or having a chat with a friend. That specificity of connection is powerful. When you play for someone who understands and who is striving to do the same thing and they receive it, they really receive it. They can receive it in a way that others can't. What if you were so supported in that way? What would that feel like to have someone who knows how hard it is, who knows what you're going through, and who is doing the same thing, really receive that communication, to really vibe with you without words, and just to know, a knowing glance, a fist bump in the air. That experience of being truly heard is one of our deepest human needs. And music is a specific, connected, deep way to experience it on a regular basis. As adults in our 40s, 50s, 60s, our social worlds shrink. We lose our natural community structures of school, of early career, of these groups of social interactions that we used to have. But a music community is one of the few places where adults of all ages can come together around something that genuinely matters to them and is genuinely improving their life experience. No matter how hard it is for them, no matter how hard you're working at music, that growth mindset, that connection to something deeper that you are expressing and communicating heals you. It puts you in a different kind of connection with yourself, with your heart, with your soul, with what matters, and with other people who are doing the same. Your instrument is not just a private conversation between you and your fingers or your hands or the music on the page. It is a door to your heart and to people who understand what it means to love this, what it means to grow this way, what it means to express, and what if you could express and truly be heard? What if you could experience that over and over again as you make meaningful progress to measurable goals? The research is clear. That kind of connection is not a luxury. It is a necessity. Your health and your life are important. You matter. You are here for something bigger. And your instrument is one of the most powerful tools you have for building towards that. So how you can apply this today, join a community, even a small one online. If you're a violin player, we have one for you. The link is in the description. The connection doesn't require being in the same room. It requires connecting. And secondly, share something you played this week. Even if you're just talking about it, even if it's a voice memo, even imperfectly, even calling someone on the phone, let someone in. Every time you've wanted to play music with someone, but you've held back because you weren't feeling good enough, you had another technique to work, you just hadn't quite gotten far enough, you didn't know enough key signatures, you were worried about your sound and how people would receive you or if this was going to be the right fit, and then you just missed the connection. Those are moments where it's not about skill. It's about connecting at whatever level. It's about knowing that you are valuable and worth it and that you have something to contribute, even if it's your open A string. Jam with someone today using your open strings, using anything you have at your disposal, because that connection is more important than any etude, scale, or repertoire that you're going to learn, and your life depends on it. Hey, if you're an adult and you're over 30 and you're playing the violin and you want to get better tone and feel confident in the way you play, we have a super special offering. Free group for you to learn about our method, somatic resonance for violin, where you can finally unlock violin for yourself, not by yourself, but in a group of committed adults. Join us with the link. I can't wait to see you there. Your best music is on the other side.